Hey there, everybody, and welcome to this Monday edition of OutKick Bets, the show. I am your host, Kayla Knierim. Joining me over there is my buddy and co-host, Arky Shea. Arky, it is Monday. How was your weekend, first and foremost?
My weekend was great. Thank you so much for asking. We had some storms run through our area, too, and prayers out to those in Kentucky who are dealing with some of that, because that is a brutal storm over the weekend. But we're here and happy to be able to give a little bit of levity, and let's hopefully make some money while we can, too.
Love that, yes. I was watching those storms unfold the night it was happening, and then the next day, waking up to all of that. My heart is with all of those people in Kentucky and Illinois and everywhere that was affected. Obviously, that is my home, so not Kentucky, but the Midwest.
Yeah, you started in your home state of Missouri, right?
Yes, yeah. Man, we were always dodging tornadoes growing up. Anyway, that's not why we're here today. You didn't ask me about my weekend.
Kayla, I feel like I know a little bit about your weekend. How was it, though? Did you have a good time?
It was great. Thank you for asking. I had a few Kings games, and I think we're going to flash up a little picture. I met someone. My good buddy and friend, Mr. SNOOPDOGG, thank you, met Snoop Dogg at the Kings game. He was there. We had him on the broadcast. He is absolute TV gold. Kills it every time. He was there a few years ago, and it's the most entertaining thing you'll ever watch. So it was all over social media. So if you didn't see it there, then you've got to YouTube it. But yeah, got my picture with Snoop.
Yeah, my favorite thing about that is I know they play a lot of Snoop songs while they're there, but when they give them the chance to go on the broadcast and sort of do play-by-play and a little bit of color too during the broadcast itself, like it's a lot of fun. It's a nice little change-up from the stodgy play-by-play that you're normally getting in the color, but it's very on brand for Snoop Dogg. It's actually a lot of fun to listen to. It's amazing.
Yeah. I love it. I love Snoop Night. And then we had Aaron Andrews in the house on Saturday, so it was a fun weekend.
Yeah, wow, that's a big time weekend for you guys. Although, I mean, Los Angeles, there seems to be a star every now and then that comes through.
There was also someone else there at the game on Saturday, and I was flipping out. I wanted to go say hi, but I didn't want to. I kept it professional, and I didn't. But Peter Berg was there, the creator of Friday Night Lights, only the show that changed my life, no big deal, and Lone Survivor. But yeah, he was there in the house as well. You never know who you're going to find at Kings games.
Hey, shout out to you for knowing what the creator of a TV show looks like.
I know my creators and directors, okay, Arky?
Okay, that's fair.
I actually did see him from far away, and I was like, Peter Berg is here. I must go say hi. But I didn't. Next game, Peter, I'll come find you. Don't worry. All right, let's get to a bet last night to see how our bets did over the weekend. Arky, how did you do?
Well, the bets, especially that I gave out over at the OutKick Bets website, it was a good weekend. We almost went 3 for 3 if it wasn't for Baker Mayfield and the Browns choking it away against the Ravens, who were Lamar Jackson-less for the vast majority of that game. That was -2.5. I took it at -3. It ended up going up at the 2, so we lost that one. But the Buffalo Bills, for crying out loud, they were nothing. 24, I think it was 24-3 at the half in favor of the Tampa Bay Bucks. And I told you last week, this was an opportunity for Tom Brady, who said before the game this was the biggest game of the year, to go and one-up what Bill Belichick did. Now, it took overtime to beat Buffalo by 6 as opposed to New England winning by 4, but Tom Brady one-up Bill Belichick. They went 33-27, a wild game and a wild comeback for Buffalo. And you got to kind of feel bad for Buffalo a little bit because they've come back in the last couple of games. They've made it close, got the last one to overtime. They can't quite get over that hump right now this year, and they're one of like 35 teams in the AFC. They're like 6-6 or 7-6 right now, and now they're full 2 games behind the New England Patriots, who they won't see for a couple of weeks. So, tough for them. But the -3 was in favor of us for the Tampa Bay Bucks. So big win there for you and me.
Absolutely. I'm going to touch on, of course, what else? The Chiefs game. They are back to firing on all cylinders and are now 9-4 on the season. Thank you very much, with a huge win over division rival and the Raiders, and have won 8 of their last 9. This is crazy. But first, Arky, do you know why this game was extra special?
Why?
It marked a scoregami. What's a scoregami, Kayla?
Yes.
Well, I'm so glad you asked. It is the final score of a game that has never happened in the NFL before. So yes, the final of 48-9 is one we have never seen. And it is the 1,071st unique final score in NFL history. So feel free to use that fun fact for the rest of the day. But back to this game. Yes, go ahead.
We've had a handful of those this year. It's weird that this far in the NFL we can get this many different scores.
Right? That was really surprising, but fun little nugget. Patrick looked alive again, and when he looks alive, I am alive. He went 20 of 24 for 258 yards and 2 touchdowns, no turnovers, and would have had more probably, but they pulled him in the fourth, which was the smart thing to do. Derek Carr, on the other hand, went 33 of 45 for 263 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 turnover. Tyreek had 4 receptions, 75 yards. Hunter Renfrow, 13 receptions for 117 yards. That dude can be scary if you don't contain him. Clyde Edwards-Helaire ran for 2 touchdowns. Kelsey has still been a little quiet. It's fine, though. We've had other weapons step up. Derek Gore had 9 carries for 66 yards, including that 1 touchdown, breaking away for a 51-yard touchdown. So that was fun. And how about our defense? Love the defense. Coming up huge with an interception, a fumble recovery, 2 forced fumbles, and a return for 23 yards. I'm going to let myself celebrate this win and my bet hitting. Thank you very much. But it's a short week for us. We have a big game coming up Thursday in LA against a good Chargers team. So I'm a little nervous for this one. Also, dear Raiders, this is what you get for stomping on our logo before the game and doing victory laps around the stadium the last time you played in KC. Serves you right. I loved every minute of this. Raider hater for life.
Yeah, you guys don't like each other.
No, we don't. Yeah. And that was so rude and disrespectful, and they got what they deserved.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to move on. What?
I should say you probably feel better than what you felt about on Saturday when your other rival, Kansas, beat the snot out of Missouri in basketball. So
you had to bring that up. I thought we were going to move on past that.
At least by 40, it shows up on the show.
Okay, I will say, though, that made my Big 12 heart so happy to see these two teams playing again, even though we got absolutely dismantled and it was a complete embarrassment. But play us in football, Kansas. Next year. Hey, do you remember, though, it wasn't too long ago when KU and MU were, like, in the top 3 in football. I was there, 2007.
Yeah.
Look it up.
That's 100 years ago.
Wild how times have changed.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Monday Night Football and our game of the day. All lines here are according to FanDuel Sportsbook. We're looking at a little NFC West showdown with the Rams, who are 8-1, 4-2 on the road at Arizona, who is 10-2, 3-2 at home, which, yes, means their only 2 losses of the season have been at home. Interesting. Arizona is the 2-point favorite as it stands with a total here of 51.5. Arizona sits atop the NFC West with the Rams trailing right behind them. Not only that, but with a win tonight, Arizona can clinch their first playoff berth since 2015. This, by all accounts, should be a good game, as the lines do suggest. The Rams picked up a win last weekend over the Jags after losing 3 straight before that, while the Cardinals have won 3 of their last 5, including a win over the Bears last weekend, 33-22. So, Arky, how are you playing this MNF matchup?
Well, you may remember the last time these two met, it was kind of rough for the Rams. And Matt Stafford has a terrible record against teams that are actually good. Like, it goes from his Detroit days and still with his Los Angeles Rams days, and includes a loss against this Arizona team. Kyler Murray's back, obviously. He didn't look that great last week, but then again, who's going to look that great in the rain and the wind and the cold anyway against Chicago? They still, by the way, get a big win, 33-22 in Chicago. And I think when I pay attention to this game, I look at both of these defenses who will be pretty close to full health this game. And that's why I stare at the number, which is at 51.5 right now. And I like that under. I really, really do in this game. Both offenses are good. They're very good. They're capable. But I like the defenses even a little bit more. If you look at the unders in these games, it's been pretty consistent as far as when both teams are fully healthy. So I pay attention to 2 very healthy defenses coming into this game, and it's kind of a minor miracle this deep into the season that they're both pretty healthy. I pay attention to the fact that Kyler Murray's slowly coming back. Matt Stafford against good teams isn't very good himself. And I sort of lean the under, and I will take the under 51.5. In fact, I'll buy it up to 52. So I'll go under 51.5 tonight for this game. But also, when we get to these primetime plays, Kayla, you know what I like to do?
You like a little parlay?
I like a little prop action. Prop action.
Yes.
So here's what I'm looking at. In the second quarter, I'm looking under 15 points tonight. It's gone under in 2 of the last 5 for the Rams, although that number's a little bit skewed. So that's why I still like it for the under 15, especially tonight with these 2 defenses. And under 15 points has been scored by the Cards in 5 straight games. That's with and without Kyler Murray in the lineup, which sort of seems to be the catalyst to get this offense sort of explosive. So, both good defenses, both fine quarterbacks, but I like the defenses more in this primetime game. And I'm going to take the under 52 tonight, under 51.5, 52 is fine. And I'm taking under 15 points in the second quarter for the Monday Night Football action.
I like that. I meant prop, not parlay, by the way.
Yeah,
okay.
No, I knew what you meant. Sometimes it works. And by the way, I'm going to sprinkle a little on the Los Angeles Rams +3. I think it's so hard to beat a team in the NFL twice in 1 year, and I think that this game's going to be super tight, super close the whole way, and so I'm going to go Rams also +3. So I got a little bit of three-peat action on this game tonight.
Okay, I'm with you on the total, not with you on the spread. I'm excited to see Matt Stafford go up against Kyler Murray, who returned to the Cardinals lineup, as we know, after missing 3 games prior. On paper, though, these 2 teams are almost identical as far as the points they're averaging per game, the points they're allowing, total yards and yards allowed. Arizona took this game when these 2 teams faced each other earlier in the season. Actually, I was at that game, which resulted in a 37-20 final. Arky, does your beating a team twice in one season only apply to college, or does it also apply to NFL?
It applies everywhere. I think
Okay.
it's really once you figure out a way a team can beat you, you start the game plan against that for game 2. So if you have good talent, it's hard to do it twice in a row.
All right, I'll keep that in mind. The Rams have obviously struggled a bit since losing Robert Woods, but the offense did seem like they were starting to finally click last weekend against the Jags. I would hope so. But up until last weekend, they were 3rd in passing yards and 2nd in passing touchdowns. Arizona, on the other hand, while they don't put up crazy numbers in the air or on the ground, their defense has played a huge part in helping them offensively. So let's talk these lines. The Rams are 5-7 against the spread this season and 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 road games against the Cardinals, while Arizona is 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games and 9-3 overall. One of the best against the spread in the league. The only team that outranks them is the Packers right now. Arizona has proven a little more to me at this point, which is why I'll be taking them at home and hoping they don't add another home loss to that list. If you care to play the total, which I'm not going to, Arizona has combined for this total of 51.5 in just 3 of 12 games, while the Rams have only seen this combined total in 4 of their 12. So you know what that tells me? Probably safe to take the under, as you are, Arky. But yeah, I like the Cardinals in this one tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you. No, I'm with you on the total.
Yes. We're aligned on the total, not on the spread.
That's right.
Game on. Okay. Moving over to our spotlight matchup, we're going to take a look at the NBA, the Bucks, who are 18-10, 9-6 on the road at Boston, who is 13-14, 6-4 at home. Boston is the 1-point favorite right now with the total hanging at 221. Arky, who do you like in this game?
Well, the Bucks are fresh off literally last night destroying my Knicks team. I'm really despondent over that. I don't know what's wrong with that Knicks team, but that aside, it's not this game. The Celtics are -1 right now in this game, and it sort of makes some kind of sense, right? Despite the fact that they had a terrible road trip. They were 1-4 in that road trip and only allowed the fewest amount of points they allowed in one of the games was 111 points, and that was to Phoenix, who on Friday beat them by 21. So that's not great signs for Boston. But Boston returns home. They haven't played since Friday, so a little bit of time off. Plus, it looks like they're getting Jaylen Brown back in the lineup. And if that is the case, it is a much different team when it comes to outscoring or being outscored per 100 possessions. In fact, I found this number interesting, that when Jaylen Brown's in the lineup, and it's the normal same 5, we're talking about Robert Williams, Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, and company. Like, if that lineup is in with Jaylen Brown, they outscore opponents by 19.5 points per 100 possessions. When he's out of the lineup, and when it's Dennis Schroeder's in that part of the lineup, they get outscored by 19 points per 100 possessions. And it's really all about defense. And you saw it on that road trip. It was a terrible road trip that Jaylen Brown wasn't a part of, and they got annihilated almost every single night out there out west. Now, coming back home against the Milwaukee team off a back-to-back on the road, too, I kind of see why the Celtics are a 1-point favorite as long as Jaylen Brown's playing. So I'm going to wait to make sure he is playing. I'm pretty sure he is because I've already played it at -1 anyway. So I'll tell you now, I like the Celtics -1 tonight. I don't love it. I like it. So it's a night that's a little on the slim pickings side. This is probably my favorite NBA play, I should say. I'm going to take -1 in favor of the Celtics tonight.
All right. I like it. By the way, Dennis will always have a place in my heart from his Thunder days. So
Sure.
There's that.
He has a place in his hairstylist's heart, too.
All right. Yes, the Bucks have won 4 of their last 5 and 12 of their last 14. Celtics, on the other hand, have won 7 of their last 14 and have dropped 4 of their last 5, as you mentioned. The Bucks are coming into this one off a road game and are 1-3 against the spread with no days off. Celtics, meanwhile, are 4-6 against the spread in their last 10 games. This will be fun to see. 2 of the best scorers in the game going head-to-head in Giannis and Tatum. The Bucks did take an L to the Celtics, also on the road when they played them back in November 12th. But I think that turns around tonight, even coming off a back-to-back on the road. The Bucks are outscoring their opponents by 10 points per 100 possessions and are just as good on defense as they are offense. The Bucks are also a top 10 team in rebounds and shooting efficiency. Now for some of Boston's strengths, they are the top 3 in free throw creation and in free throw accuracy, despite the fact they aren't necessarily clicking as a whole on offense. Boston is also solid in rebounding at 73%. I mentioned those leading scorers. Tatum is averaging 25.6 points per game with 8.8 rebounds, while Giannis scored roughly 27.3 a game and pulls down 11.7 rebounds per game this season, so that's pretty decent. Celtics currently sit at 13-14 against the spread this season and are 9-8 when playing as the 1-point favorite. Milwaukee is 12-15 against the spread this year. The Bucks have been the 1-point dogs in 4 games this season and have covered in 1 of those games. So for what it's worth, in their last matchup, Boston was favored by 5.5, also at home, and covered in that win. I'm staying away from the total, but the Celtics have hit the over in 11 games this season, while Milwaukee has gone over in just 9. Despite the fact the stats, as they pertain to betting, might be against me, I think I'm going to take the Bucks here at +1. I think they're the better team, but of course, going in on a back-to-back and on a game 4 of their four-game road trip, it'll certainly not be easy tonight at TD Garden. I can also see this going the other way and blowing up in my face, but I'm partial to Milwaukee in this one. I love Giannis. What can I say?
Okay. So back-to-back games,
I know. Game 4 of a 4-game road trip, too. It's not going to be great, but take my chances.
All right. We're different on 2 different games. It's going to be interesting tonight when we recap it on Twitter at OutKick Bets.
I only retweet if my bet's hit.
That's right. That's the smart thing to do.
All right. As for our quick hitters, Arky, what are you looking out for?
I told you it was a little bit of a slim pickings night when it comes to the basketball, the hockey,
yeah,
and the
not a lot going on.
And yeah, I had to stretch a little bit for this one. I'm going to take you out to a little West Coast action, and I'm going to take a trip up to Portland, where the Portland Pilots, that's right, where the Portland Pilots, not the Trailblazers, the Portland Pilots are taking on the California Polytechnic University at San Luis Obispo Mustangs tonight.
Nailed it.
Right now, Portland is -4 on the spread right now if you get it at FanDuel. It's where I'm taking it right now because I like Portland here. And the reason I like them is Tyler Robertson. The big, giant 6'6", he's fine. Forward from Australia. He's leading the team in points, and rebounds, and assists. The offense runs through that guy. And he is actually he's an all-conference type player, although the West Coast Conference kind of loaded this year for some of the selections. He is a very, very, very good player for them. They don't have anything that's going to overwhelm me as far as how good their offense or defense is. This isn't a sort of a specialty pick like that. But they are taking on the Mustangs, who are really one of the worst offenses in America. They're in the bottom 250 to 300 in every single statistical category offensively. But defensively is where they get it done. They're 75th in the country when it comes to points allowed per game. And that doesn't sound great, but there's 350 plus teams in Division I basketball, so it's actually not that bad. So they'll try to keep it close, and that's how they play the game, rough and dirty that way. Well, not dirty, but you see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They try to muck it up a little bit in the paint, but I'll tell you this. I still don't think it's enough for the Portland Timbers. Different sport. Portland Pilots tonight. Portland -4 tonight against the Fighting Mustangs from San Luis Obispo.
Well done. Love that for you.
Thank you. And by the way, the Mustangs only have one road win the entire season. Come on now. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I am looking again to the NBA, where the Heat, who are 16-11, 8-7 on the road, will be taking on the Cavs, who are 16-12, 7-7 at home. Cleveland right now is the 5.5-point favorite with a total of 207.5. The Heat are coming off 2 big wins over the Bucks and Bulls, both at home, while the Cavs are looking to pick up their 4th in a row. The Cavs defeated the Heat in their last and first meeting this season on December 1st. Tyler Hero scored 21 for the Heat, while Kevin Love put up 22 for the Cavs. Cleveland did cover the spread as 3-point dogs, and they fell short of the 207-point total after combining for 196. As for this game, Cleveland is 21-5-2 against the spread on the season, so that's pretty good. And Miami is 16-11 and are 4-1 against the spread when playing as the 4.5-point dogs. While when the Cavs have been favored by 5 in 3 games this season, they cover in all 3. So here it goes. I don't feel super confident in this one either, but it's important to note that the Heat are still without Jimmy Butler and still without Bam. But I'm going to lean Miami at +5.5 and hope they play the Cavs close. I can totally see this one also going the other direction for the home team, though. So not going to touch totals, but 10 of Cleveland's 28 have gone over, and 15 of Miami's have also gone over, and for what it's worth there. But I like the dogs in this one. Okay. On the road.
Okay.
Taking some chances tonight with these away teams.
Yeah, dogs are barking. I hear you.
Dogs are barking. We're not talking about our feet. All right. Last but not least today, games to look out for. Arky, what are you looking ahead to?
2K. Can you smell it? It smells like bowl
like
season.
victory?
Yeah, well,
bowl season.
It's bowl season. That starts Saturday, y'all. Or Friday, actually. It's really, really, really exciting stuff. And the first bowl out the gate is the Cure Bowl. It's the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers taking on my beloved underdog, unexpected MAC champs, Northern Illinois, and Thomas Hammock and company. It's 2 very different styles of offense. Coastal Carolina is much of a, we'll take a little piece of every type of offense here and we'll just put it into ours. Like, they run all kinds of stuff. It's really a really fun offense to watch if you sort of haven't had a chance to watch Coastal much this year. They're really kind of interesting. They'll do it all. And then you take on Northern Illinois, who doesn't really care if you can pass the ball or not. They just run it. They run it and run it and run it, and that's how they took up a big lead against Kent State in the MAC championship game. Like, that's what they do. They run, and then run some more. They're a very good team at it, too, obviously being able to win the conference championship. It's -10 right now in favor of Coastal, and the line sort of makes some sense. Coastal is the better top-to-bottom type team, but we've said that all year about teams against Northern Illinois this season. So you take a look at the total. It's 63.5. It feels like a bunch, but also both these teams can score if they get into a shootout. They will get into a shootout. They're not scared to do it one way or the other. It's just one team does it a different way than the other team sort of does it. So I'm paying attention to both these numbers as the lines go forward a little bit later in the week, but I'm definitely playing this ball game whenever it comes closer. But keep an eye on that number, -10 right now, in favor of Coastal. That may and probably will go up a little bit more, and if it does, it's a good time to snipe on Northern Illinois on the other side.
All right, I like that. Yeah. By the way, who's your team? What bowl is your team in? Auburn.
They're in the glorious yet often overlooked Birmingham Bowl.
Noted. I'll look out for that one.
Yeah, you will look out for it as no one else will look out for it because it will be on deep cable, maybe even streaming.
Love it. Yeah. All right, I'm looking ahead already to the NFL this weekend. The Bengals, who are 7-6, 4-2 on the road, taking on Denver, also 7-6, 4-3 at home. Denver, the 1-point favorite with a total of 43.5. Burrow versus Bridgewater. Both teams currently sit in third in the AFC North and AFC West, respectively, and obviously are holding the same record. Cincinnati has just won 2 of their last 5 after coming off back-to-back losses to the 49ers and Chargers before that. The Broncos have won 3 of their last 5 and enter their game after a big win over Detroit at home, 38-10. Speaking of those QBs, Burrow currently sits 8th in yards with over 3,400 and also 8th in touchdowns at 25 on the season. He's also playing with that banged up finger, but still managed to put up 348 yards in Sunday's loss. On the Broncos side, Bridgewater is 14th in yards at over 2,900 and tied for 14th in touchdowns at 18. This won't be an easy road game for the Bengals going up against a tough Broncos defense. The Bengals are 2-4 against the spread in their last 6 and 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 road games and 3-7 in their last 10 games played in December. Fun fact. Denver, on the other hand, is 4-2 against the spread in their last 6 and 1-5 against the spread in their last 5 games played in week 15. How about that? This line could move. It ranges from 1 in some places to 3, but as it stands right now on FanDuel, I would take Denver at -1 at home, even though that pains me to say a little bit. Speaking of, Arky, did you see the touching tribute to Demaryius Thomas?
I did. It was a very, very... Listen, when things happen so quickly, to be able to try to arrange a proper tribute is difficult. I think they did a very good job. Very
well done. I just think they're playing for more right now. I think that adds to it. And just being at Mile High, I like Denver in this one. If you are playing the total, it's gone over in 5 of Cincy's last 7 games and under in 6 of Denver's last 7. So I would be okay with taking the over because Cincy has exceeded that total in their last 5 and Denver in 3 of their last 5. But give me Denver at home in this one.
Yeah, you want to talk about 2 teams who are right in the thick in the AFC is still trying to fight for the playoff. I mean, there's a ton of those teams there, which means this last month of the season where there are no more bye weeks is going to be super, super, super competitive and fun.
Love it. It's getting down to the wire.
That's what we love about it.
Best time of year. Arky, can I give you a word of advice before we wrap up today's show?
I'm always listening.
Don't wear a winter sweater with a ring light. It is toasty up in here today.
Good to know. I don't have many of them, but it's good to know.
Also in California, it doesn't make much sense, so I won't be doing this again. All right, that is going to do it for us on this Monday. That is Arky, Shea. I'm Kayla Knierim. Don't forget to make your picks at FanDuel.com/OutKick. Best of luck in your betting, and we will see you right back here tomorrow. Have a good one.